Hey, what's up, everybody? Tonight on the show, we are previewing WWE's Extreme Rules. We are reviewing tonight's episode of WWE Smackdown, and we're watching AEW Rampage Battle of the Belts. It's Wrestling Uncensored, and it starts right now. Yes, indeed. Welcome to the show. I'm Dave. This is my co-host, Yoshi. Wait, no. There's my co-host, Johnny North. Hi, Johnny.
Yo, Yoshi also says some things. Is it Yoshi? Is it she? What?
Well, you said yo, so I just finished Yoshi. Yoshi. I don't think Yoshi has a gender.
I didn't mean I feel like Yoshi's a he, no? But Yoshis can make other Yoshis, like, doesn't matter what it was.
There are baby Yoshis, but I don't know, like, where they come from necessarily. Different color Yoshis. Yoshi. Talking Yoshi.
It's like it's hitting shells or throwing eggs.
You hear that?
I don't think people were expecting this.
Tremendous.
I hear it. I'm sure a lot of people weren't expecting this. This is definitely a unique episode now because of all this.
All right. Put Yoshi away for now. Let's talk about some professional wrestling. It's enough fun and games here, John. Take it easy.
Where do you want to start? There's so much wrestling this week.
Yeah, well, I am watching Rampage right now. We have Claudio Castagnoli taking on Castagnoli and Moxley taking on the Private Party.
Well, Wheeler's there too.
Oh, it's Private Party and Roosh. I see. It's Private Party and Roosh against Castagnoli, Moxley, and Wheeler. It's a six-man.
That's right.
Yes, Silent, they are making a Super Mario Brothers movie. I'm excited about it.
You saw the trailer, right?
Yeah, I saw the trailer. Did you?
Of course.
I mean, I'm a big Nintendo fan, big Mario fan. If you follow me, if you follow the show closely, you know that. So, I'm a big Nintendo guy, so I'm going to see the movie. For sure. And it's not just Mario and Bowser. It's like Donkey Kong and that whole universe, I think. So it'll be fun.
Well,
it might not be a great movie. We've never really seen a great Mario movie or anything.
I've only tried it once.
Yeah, but even the Mario cartoons and stuff weren't that good. The games really, the Mario franchise, it's all about the games. It's not about the TV shows or the movies. They're trying to make a movie, and we'll see. I'll check it out.
Well, as a kid, I enjoyed the cartoon shows. I mean,
I did
they
too.
Were just that.
But they weren't. But it wasn't my favorite cartoon. You know what I mean? Like as a kid, you enjoyed the cartoon because it was a Mario cartoon, and you were gonna watch it. But you knew, like, this is kind of a bad cartoon. Like it wasn't that good. It wasn't Ninja Turtles.
Definitely, Turtles was better, but that's a bit different though. But you had Lou Albano at the beginning with Luigi. I forget who the Luigi actor was, but that was kind of cool. When you had that Super Brothers Super Show. Then you had Zelda at the end of it, too, as well. It was a nice little half hour of just quality Nintendo.
Those Zelda cartoons were terrible. Well, it was always the same one, too.
Anything. I think they only made like 15 episodes, or maybe 12.
Yeah, it was always the same one.
Yeah.
It was annoying. It wasn't great. So we'll see if this Mario movie's any good.
I think
it's just weird.
That was what?
What?
Early 90s, late 80s? I mean, I think by now they figured out how to make something of quality, and that was back then. I mean, I think, the writers are completely different now, so I give them a bit more credit. I think they know what to do now.
It just seems weird to hear Mario just talk like Chris Pratt. He doesn't Like, to me, Mario's got to say, "It's a me, Mario." You know, he's got to have an accent. He's got to have the high-pitched voice. It's a little weird.
You got to change the language on. Apparently, the Italian Mario sounds really good.
Yeah, but I'm not going to watch the movie in Italian with subtitles just so Mario sounds correct. Did Moxley and friends just win here?
Well, you never had any doubt of that. Of course they were going to win this match.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's over now.
Wheeler got the submission. Wheeler got the submission win, I think.
Big deal. My feed here is kind of choppy. Like, I got a feed, but it's like, is it choppy for you too?
No, it's pretty good. It's actually decent size too, as well. It's like bigger than usual. Usually it's a small screen, and it's actually a pretty decent sized screen.
I don't know. Maybe the production team could fix that. My feed is like real choppy. It's not like a smooth video feed, but that's okay. It's just Rampage. It's a 2-hour Rampage tonight too, right? What's the deal?
Well, it's Rampage, then it's Battle of the Belts 4. It's like 2 shows in one.
I thought Battle of the Belts was on Saturdays.
Well, it's live right now, right? So instead of airing it taped during Extreme Rules, they'll just air it now, which I think is a much better idea.
This is live?
This is live, yeah.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure it said live in the corner. I mean, they can lie. They've always lied in the past, but I feel like this is live.
Okay.
We saw Moxley, right? Moxley was on Dynamite. Now he's here again wrestling. Like, not impossible that they taped it, but I don't think they did. Roosh wrestled on Dynamite, didn't he? He wrestled twice. He wrestles Hangman.
Yeah. So I guess, Rampage is...
You can fact check. You can check the AJ News. I'm sure.
I'm trying to fact check you here just to make sure.
I think I got a better record than AJ does at this point.
I think you're right. I think it is live right now. Good for you, John.
My feed's pretty good, I guess, huh?
Yeah, see, when you give me facts, I tend to trust them. You saw that whole bit with AJ giving me facts?
That was a great bit. Fantastic.
Yeah.
If people haven't seen the Ringside Report this week, they should definitely check it out. That was great stuff.
Yeah, it was a good opening bit that we had this week on the show. AJ, he told me that I was going to owe him an apology this week, and I was like, I don't know about that. Turns out he was wrong, so I made him apologize to me. He will apologize! Is Andrade going to have to apologize to Sammy Guevara? That's the biggest story in wrestling this week, right? The Andrade-Sammy Guevara fight.
I think it's one of the biggest stories. I mean, the whole WWE shakeup is also kind of a big story as well.
What shakeup?
Well, this was season premiere tonight. Season premiere of Raw Monday. The whole, everything's being changed now. It's a whole new start, right? It didn't feel like a whole new start tonight, but that's what they keep saying.
I mean, a season premiere just means, it's like October and I don't know. They're trying to bump ratings, but how is that a story on par with... I mean, Wade Barrett's on commentary on Smackdown now. Ooh, I mean...
LA Knight's back. Back to being LA Knight, yes.
Zelina Vega's back.
There you go. Some new stuff. New is old again.
Sarah Logan probably back with the Viking Raiders, as we saw tonight on SmackDown.
It seemed like it. I wasn't sure, but I guess so.
But, I mean, does that register? I mean, obviously it does for you. I don't know. For me, I'm like, yeah, whatever. WWE changed up commentary. Okay. They got rid of Jimmy Smith. They replaced him with Kevin Irish. Kevin Irish.
Patrick.
Yeah.
Kevin Patrick. Yeah.
There you go. Oh, I don't know. I mean, he's gonna do play-by-play on Raw.
Oh, he's
him
bad.
and Corey Graves, right?
Yeah, it's a terrible move. Triple H is stupid. That's bad. He did commentary one time before on Raw. He is. Walter White tonight.
What?
Well, I don't know if you got the reference, but he looked like Walter White when he came out, it seemed.
You look like Triple H to me.
Okay. Well, he seems like he's changing a bit. He's a lot smaller than he used to be, that's for sure. Nowhere close to 2002 Triple H.
Why was he out tonight at the beginning of SmackDown? Welcome to I'm doing the Vince voice because that's what
era, right?
Welcome to Fox. Welcome to SmackDown, damn it. Welcome to Fox. Welcome to SmackDown. Weak. The hell was that? He's doing the Vince thing, right?
Well, he's also going to be on Raw, right, too? Because DX is going to be on Raw, so I guess this will get people excited. Oh, Triple H is on both shows, you know? He's on both season premieres.
Jeez. That's the big thing that they have for Raw on Monday. Oh, and they got Roman Reigns to show up, which is nice.
That's bigger.
It is bigger, of course. Which is crazy, you know? They got their world champion to show up on Raw. Whoa! He's champion of both. He's like the double champ, you know? He shows up on SmackDown once in a while. He's going to be on Raw this Monday, and that's a big deal. It's such a big deal that they sent the Usos and Sami Zayn to Raw just to tell people about it, right? That was their job this week on Raw.
Like I enjoyed SmackDown tonight, and I think what helps a lot was Raw was so bad. I was very happy I wasn't happy to watch Raw last week because it's such a great break to not watch 3 hours of that horrible show. Like, honestly, Raw used to be one of the best shows for me weekly, and now it's the worst show I watch weekly. This was easily one of the worst episodes ever of Raw. I mean, It may not have been the worst ever, but it's up there. Like, I struggled to watch that show. It was so bad.
You can't open a show with 30 minutes of Judgment Day. It's just not good. It's not working. Also, they all have the same gimmick. They all have this kind of brooding, slightly evil, but not like fully Undertaker, but kind of halfway there with the mean faces and the lights out and the dark music and the heavy metal attire and the leather and the names and the imagery. And everybody's got the same gimmick. Judgment Day has it. Karrion Kross has it. Viking Raiders did a promo that was basically, the same thing. Aleister Black had it. It's all this kind of nonsense. Bray Wyatt's going to come back. He's going to be a similar version. It sucks. I don't know what the hell Judgment Day is. They're like halfway trying to be NWO and other halfway trying to be like an evil group. Like a Wyatt family, whatever. Rhea Ripley has done sex to Dominic, which has poisoned his mind. It's goddamn awful.
Okay,
all of them talking, doing promos. It's terrible. What?
It's not exactly what's happening, actually. Like, it's just more. She's just whispering. She's just whispering into his ear. That's all.
No. The understanding is Rhea Ripley has done sex relations upon Dominic Mysterio, and that is why he has turned his back on his father, Rey Mysterio, and the rest of the mysterious family. No?
I think that you're just taking the story and twisting it a little bit. I mean, you're used to, like, when Raw was a good show, that was what would happen. But Raw's not like that anymore. It's a PG show, and this is more just whispering in his ear, and he's a bad guy now. And he laughs during his promo when he's supposed to be serious. This was not a good display for Dominic tonight. I mean, on Monday. It was really bad. Like, and Finn, too. Finn's the leader.
Ugh.
And he struggles. He struggles to lead that promo.
Edge.
It's tough. He's not.
I'm gonna decimate you at Extreme Rules. They need to stop talking to like a guy that's not there and talk to each other. You know what made NWO cool is like Hogan would be like, "Hey brother, I tell you what I'm gonna do to Sting on blah 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 on Saturday. It's gonna be crazy." And then Hall would be like, "Yeah, Hulk, it's going to be nuts." and they'd kind of talk to each other. It's better when these big evil groups, these like big mean factions, talk to each other in these promos rather than just one after another say like menacing things about people they will wrestle in the near future. Like Finn comes out and he's like, I'm gonna do to Edge, and Edge, you better watch out because I'm a mean guy and I'm gonna hurt you bad. And then Damian Priest takes the mic and he's like, hey, we're going to wrestle Rey Mysterio and AJ Styles in a few minutes, and we're going to do really mean things to them and hurt them really bad and break their face and da-da-da, and all sorts of stuff that they're not going to do, too. That's another thing that wrestlers are doing too much, like, I'm going to break your face, I'm going to rip your bones, I'm going to smash your limbs,
I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to Jeffrey Dahmer you, I'm going to kill you. You know, there's all sorts of things they're saying they're going to do, and they're not really. Yeah, who threatened murder this week? Riddle. Riddle said he was going to kill Seth Rollins in their pit match. Yeah.
Very PG.
Yeah. So, but Finn is like, da-da-da, I'm going to do this to you, Edge. And then Priest is like, and we're going to do this and that's to AJ Styles and Rey. And then Finn takes the mic back and he's like doubling down. He's like, yeah, we really are going to do those mean things to AJ Styles and Rey. And then Dominic is like, Rey, you're my father, but I hate you. And that's supposed to be the big line, like he hates him. And then they have a match eventually. What?
Apparently not his father, but doesn't say who his real father is anymore. Just say you're not my father.
Yeah.
But doesn't say who his father is.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a father now, I guess.
He's fatherless now. Is Rhea Ripley his father?
I thought that's what he was going to say, but because I guess she calls herself Poppy, doesn't she? Or
does she? No, I thought she called him Poppy. Dominic.
It's not clear, but I think that's intentional.
It's so terrible. The Judgment Day is awful. The promo style is the shits. Garbage. Finn and Priest beat Rey and AJ Styles in a match. That was all right. The match was fine.
I feel.
Yeah.
It was fine, but I feel like we've seen this before, and like a lot of it was just like, have a good moment, wait, sell, heat, and then have a good moment, wait, sell, and then of course the traditional outside interference, because you can't have a match now these days without outside interference. So make sure you get the outside interference, and of course the match will end.
Yeah, Dominic
I wasn't a fan of this.
No, well, that's WWE style. That's what they keep doing. They give you like 20-minute matches, and then at the end, it's like, here's somebody to distract you outside the ring, and that's how the match is going to end. So Dominic is like, hit me, father, hit me, Rey Mysterio. And Rey is like, no, I will not hit you. And then he turns around, and Rhea Ripley hits Rey, clotheslines him.
This is a repeat.
Yeah.
They've done the same thing already.
Yeah, I know. And then AJ goes to tag Rey, but Rey's not there. And then Finn hits a double stomp thing on AJ for the win. The weird part about this was AJ getting mad at Rey after the match and pushing him because he wasn't there to take the tag. Right. And then Rey is like mad. He seems kind of mad and he leaves. And then AJ Styles gets beat down by the whole Judgment Day and Rey doesn't come help him. Nobody helps him. And Finn's like, AJ, I'm your friend. I want to help you. I want you to join us. And if you don't join us, I'm going to beat the hell out of you. And then they all beat him up. And they do a pose around AJ's broken, beaten body. 30 minutes of Raw. First 30 minutes of Raw was all Judgment Day stuff. Triple H thinks this is good. This is his idea of cool. With the leather and the mean face and the heavy metal music. Like, what was the game? It's a very similar style gimmick. It's what he likes. And it sucks. Big time.
Well, he probably sees a lot of them in him. Like, yeah,
yep.
I don't disagree with that. To me, I think Damian Priest should be the leader. It seems he's most comfortable on the mic. But for whatever reason, Finn's, I guess, the more experienced guy. That makes sense, I guess. But I just feel like he's not the guy to be doing all the talking.
But Priest being the most comfortable guy on the mic in that group is not saying very much.
They might be lowering it a bit, yeah, sure.
Imagine
it's the way it is, though.
Them doing promos opposite MJF, how that would go.
Oh, they get destroyed. Like, there's no question about that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, these people are just not in the same arena. They're not in the same world. Yet they're given TV time, and we have to watch them on television. You know, it's just, you can't expose these people that are so bad at this and give them long in-ring promos to open your show. Like, if you're an average viewer, a guy that doesn't have to sit through a 3-hour Raw, because we talk about it on this show, if you're just an average person who's not, you know, the host of Wrestling Uncensored, how do you not tune out after 2 minutes of this promo and maybe never come back?
Well, not only that, you had to watch the promo, then you had to watch the match, went through 2 commercial breaks. You know, that's, you know, half an hour right there. Just that whole thing. And, like, again, this is the setup for the Premium Live Event match, the I Quit match. How did this help set it up exactly? Like, okay, Finn got the win, but with Edge, like, Edge did the promo later on, but this match didn't really help anything with the whole Ray and AJ thing. It just like, well, no, there's another story going on, but whatever. I mean, that doesn't really matter come Saturday. So it just felt like they're doing other stuff on the side. What's really important. It just felt like things are all over the place. And again, for a go-home show for Raw and SmackDown, it's like, it felt like they're doing so many different things at once that it's like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a Premium Live event Saturday.
Yeah, they're setting stuff up for next week already. Like, they're moving forward, right? Like, Bobby Lashley and Mustafa Ali.
Well,
here's an example.
You know, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, well, that too, right? They got the crown jewel at the beginning of November, but you've got Bobby Lashley beating Mustafa Ali, making him
a clean finish, though. I'll give him that.
It's a clean finish, but it's a stupid finish that I've pointed out many times. You can't put somebody to sleep with a full Nelson. That's not a choke. It's not a move that you go to sleep to. To pass out due to pain.
So much pain.
There's no, I mean, it's impossible to have that much pain and pass out. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You might injure him, but he's not going to make him pass out in a full Nelson. It's not even a submission move. You will never see a UFC fight end in a full Nelson. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, it was a clean finish. Bobby beat him with his hurt lock, full Nelson, which is not a submission move. You know, and then Mustafa, you know, he put in a real good fight and a tough effort against Bobby, so Bobby had respect for him and picked him up. But then as soon as he picks him up to give him respect, Seth Rollins jumps on Bobby, hits the curb stomp, then hits the stomp again on the U.S. title belt, and the curb stomp on Ali outside the ring for good measure. So here's Seth Rollins. He's got this match that he's going to cut a promo on Riddle here for, but he's also setting up a U.S. title match that's happening Monday night on Raw. So it's like, yeah, the Riddle thing's happening, but also Seth is doing this other thing next week. So you're right.
Right.
There's a lot going on. Diverging
it just feels like
interests.
That's it. Like, you know, they're trying to, you know, book Saturday and like, oh, by the way, Monday, that's a big thing too as well. So it's like a lot's going on. It's like, what's really important here? Because it feels like we're all over the place and you have 3 hours, but you have to jump around from here to there. To me, it's just like Saturday doesn't seem that important. It's just like, well, this match is happening. But then, by the way, season premiere, get ready for that.
Who is more likely to join the Judgment Day?
Huge fan of this, to be honest.
Huh? Of what?
So I wasn't a huge fan of the whole like Rollins and Riddle like promo. Like they really. No.
But I want to ask you about the Judgment Day here for a second because we kind of skipped over the AJ Styles pushing down Rey Mysterio. You think AJ, after taking the beatdown, is a possibility to join the Judgment Day because he realized, you know, can't beat him, join him? Or Rey Mysterio possibly joins the Judgment Day to be with his son. Or neither man joined the Judgment Day. Like, what was the deal with AJ pushing Rey down after that match?
I think it's just to help give Judgment Day a bit of over, in a sense, where it's like the faces can never get along kind of thing, and that's what helps Judgment Day finally get a win correctly. Then they can actually beat Judgment Day, which they have already done in the past. So, but I don't think your man is going to join Judgment Day. It doesn't seem like a good fit.
All right, well, we'll see what's going to happen there with the Day of Judgment. What do we have here? Anna Jay and Ty Conti just beating Sky Blue and Madison Rayne on Rampage.
Now we have the Trios Championship match coming up, I guess. I guess that's the main event for Rampage. I'm going to guess it's 10 Reynolds and Silver, I'm guessing, right? From Dark Order?
Yeah, I think so, because Uno doesn't seem dressed for action. Huh. That's the main event of Rampage, and I guess we're going to roll right into the Battle of the Belts right afterwards. I don't even know what's on that. FTR against that Ring of Honor team, I think.
Right, Jade against Willow, Nightingale. And I think Pac is defending his All-Atlantic Championship against Trent.
What? He's double booked?
Yeah, Pac is making double booked, double champion, double booked. You can check my feed again.
And this is live.
My feed don't lie.
He's double booked. Yeah. Wow. Look at you with the information. All right. So we're watching this AEW Rampage and the AEW Battle of the Belts. And we're watching Extreme Rules tomorrow night, right? We're going to be watching Extreme Rules, and then after Extreme Rules, we'll be back here to recap all the action. WWE's Extreme Rules is tomorrow night, Johnny. And I can tell you who will be on this card. It will be the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch, taking on Imperium, Gunther, Ludwig, and Giovanni in a 6-man tag, good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. I know AJ will like the Donnybrook match. That'll be fun. Edge versus Finn Balor in an I Quit match. Bianca Belair versus Bayley in a ladder match for the Raw Women's title. Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross in a strap match. Matt Riddle versus Seth Freakin in a fight pit match with Daniel Cormier as the special guest referee. And Liv Morgan defending the SmackDown Women's title against Ronda Rousey in an Extreme Rules match. What is the main event? What will go on last? Ronda and Liv?
I agree, a women's match, but I think it's going to be Bianca and Bayley. I think the ladder match, to me, would be the main event. Because that ended Raw, did it not?
Yes, but this pay-per-view is called Extreme Rules. Liv and Ronda are the only Extreme Rules match on this card. Technically, Extreme Rules, dubbed Extreme Rules. And Ronda Rousey is by far the biggest star on this card.
Okay. Do you feel that's going to have a good ending, though, to that match, though? I don't know.
I could see Ronda taking it back.
You think so? That's a tough one. It's tough. I could see Liv, because Extreme Rules, so shenanigans can easily happen in that kind of situation. I feel, regardless of shenanigans, Bianca's walking away as champion. And that's what fans want to see at the end, I think.
So you don't see a title change at all? We have two title matches. Only title matches on this card are for the women's title, the Raw title, and the SmackDown title. And you don't think we see a title change? Bianca and Liv both retain?
With Ronda, it's tough because I don't know. I up till like when you asked me my pick, I'm still not sure. It really could go either way, I feel. But Bianca, I'm very sure. I think Bianca beats Bayley.
I'm not sure about that either. I feel like Bianca's had a decent run. I feel like Liv has had a good enough run. They did a little video package for Liv and Ronda tonight. I could see Ronda taking the title. I could see it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how either match will go.
I mean, again, Extreme Rules, if you're going to have Liv walk away as champion, I mean, you can come up with so many different reasons in this kind of match to protect Ronda. So I feel like that's going to happen. I feel Charlotte, maybe even Shayna. I think Ronda's probably going to get screwed out of the championship.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I could see it. It's Extreme Rules. There's a lot of ways to get around having Ronda win, right? They're in Philadelphia. Liv's from Jersey. It's not that far away. I could see Liv Morgan winning, retaining the title over Ronda Rousey. She only won it in like July. Hasn't been a long run, but yeah. If Ronda loses, though, Ronda is going to have to go away for a little while, right?
No, not necessarily. I mean, whoever bumps her down to make sure she doesn't win, I mean, just fuse with them right away. Whether it be Shayna or Charlotte, just go right into that. That works. They'll be in the War Games match for sure.
You think Ronda will be in War Games?
She should be. I mean, it makes the most sense to have her in there. She's like the strongest female on the SmackDown roster. If you're doing that kind of setup.
But I don't know if Ronda's going to be sticking around past Extreme Rules. I could see her taking a break. Like, Ronda's not a full-time wrestler. If she's not champion, I don't know.
I feel she's over enough. She doesn't need the championship at this point. That actually her chasing the championship is more interesting than her being champion.
At some point, do you put the title on her to set up a match at WrestleMania with Becky Lynch? Or would you not do that match, or would you have Becky as champion?
I mean, a lot depends on when Becky's coming back, right? I mean, if Becky could come back for the Rumble, that would work up pretty good, right? You can do that. It all depends, but if Becky's going to come back right for WrestleMania, I mean, do you even need that to be a title match? Because Becky versus Ronda, not for a title, that still works. People still want to see it.
Yeah, I think you got to throw a title in there.
I think a lot depends on when Becky comes back. If it's like, oh, she's just going to make it for WrestleMania, I feel like maybe you do a Ronda saying open challenge kind of thing, and then Becky accepts.
So Liv Morgan and Ronda Rousey Extreme Rules match. I think Liv Morgan will retain. I don't think she's going to have any outside help, though. I don't think Charlotte or anybody comes back. I think Liv just uses weapons and finds a way to beat Ronda. I don't think Ronda necessarily starts a new feud right off Extreme Rules. It would be good to see Charlotte back, though. I could see Liv going on against Lacey Evans after Ronda Rousey, because she did lay that beatdown on Lacey Evans last week or the week before.
Right.
Lacey getting revenge would make sense. But I think Liv is going to win just with weapons. She's going to find a way to beat Ronda once again.
She has very interesting weapons because, I mean, she already kind of eked by with a controversial win the last time. I feel that, she's going to need like an army to beat Ronda. And we saw her like with the baseball bat, like she's not very good with weapons. So to me, it's like she's going to need help.
You might be right. We both see Liv Morgan retaining over Ronda Rousey. I hope the match will be good. I'm looking forward to this pay-per-view because on paper, it looks pretty good.
It does.
Right? Liv and Ronda Extreme Rules, interesting. Riddle and Seth Freakin in the Fight Pit match. That promo on Raw was not great. It had a couple moments, though. Right?
The Cormier thing was really off.
Oh.
Like, why do something like that when it's like you've already announced he's referee, and then it's like he announced he's going to be the referee during the promo.
Yeah.
That was just like, well, that was dumb.
And it was clearly a taped promo that was meant to be like he's live talking to you right now. But
right.
It was obviously just something he recorded on his cell phone and sent to the WWE. And it was not good. It was awkward. I'm a huge Daniel Cormier fan. I think he's fantastic. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time. But this didn't really work. Saying, he's tired of the foolishness between these guys, and he had to come down and do something about it. These guys, the way they've been acting, it's despicable. So he's going to have to come down and make sure that they act right in this match. It was really
the
weird.
Referee does that.
It was really... No, that's not... It didn't make sense at all. Especially after the promo that Riddle and Seth did to each other there. Seth, again, going at Riddle's family, his personal life.
At least they gave Riddle a comeback this time. That was nice.
What was his comeback?
Like, when was the last time you had your title match? Oh, yeah, you got choked out against Roman. And when did you main event WrestleMania? Oh, wait, no, your wife did.
Yeah, well, Riddle never main evented WrestleMania either, and he doesn't even have a wife, so it's not a great comeback. I thought that was a pretty weak comeback, actually. He's like, oh, when's the last time you main evented WrestleMania? I'm like, sorry, Riddle. You're going to talk about, like, who has a better spot in the company? Like, when's the last time you were a WWE champion, Riddle? When's the last time you main evented anything? Seth Rollins is one of the biggest stars in the company, one of the most highly decorated guys. Seth says, oh, Riddle, can you sing your kids to sleep? Oh, wait, you can't see your kids because your wife took them from you because you're a deadbeat piece of shit. And also, you can't touch me because we have a no contact clause here. And if you touch me, the match will be canceled and you need the money because it's child support. You need to pay it, Riddle, because you're a piece of shit. And Riddle's like, well, your wife is a bigger star than you. It's like, yeah, all right. Well, I'm a bigger star than you, so what does that say about you? I don't know. I thought Riddle's comeback was pretty terrible. And Seth saying that stuff about Riddle's kids again, it's a little... I don't know. I feel bad for the kids. Like, they have to have their shitty life dragged out on TV for their dad's stupid wrestling story. I'm sure their dad is okaying it. How do they feel? I feel bad for the kids. At this point, Riddle seems to just be using his shitty dadness as an angle to try and get sympathy as a babyface. Like, the more Seth brings it up, the more I'm like, oh yeah, Riddle's a piece of shit. Go Seth. Is Seth the good guy? Like, he's not supposed to be, but the more Seth brings this stuff up, I'm like, yeah. I'm with you, Seth. You have a bus. You bring your kid everywhere you go with your wife. You have a nice life. You're not being accused of sexual attacks. Seems like you got everything going on the straight and narrow. I did see your penis on the internet that one time, but that was years ago, Seth Rollins, so you seem to have straightened out your life. That was before you had kids, before you got married. Riddle doesn't know how to do it. He's got kids, he's got a wife, and he goes around causing mischief. Who knows what he's doing? Alleged, bad things. Fucking guy.
Well, the main thing...
And Seth bringing it up makes him seem like a bad guy, doesn't it? Sorry, go ahead. But, right?
It's off-putting, yeah, but I mean, it's to add the whole realism to the whole storyline and to make it feel like, oh, now they really don't like each other. And there was actually legitimate beef with each other. I'm surprised they don't bring that up whatsoever. That has been completely ignored. How Riddle was like talking bad about Seth and Becky, like in a jokey manner, but Seth took it personally and didn't want to work with him. But we don't
Really?
bring that up whatsoever.
What did he
That's
say?
real stuff. Just something like in passing, like kind of almost like what he said there, like, Becky's more of a star than you are. And just like, I guess, like Seth heard about him saying that, and then I guess he was mad about that and didn't want to work with him. But we don't bring that up whatsoever. The actual heat. Let's just forget about that.
I just don't understand Riddle trying to be like, oh, your wife's a bigger star. Like, you can say that if you're Roman Reigns. But if you're Matt Riddle, like, I don't know. Who cares?
Well, the main point was to always say that you're like the second guy. You're the number 2 guy. And that's been kind of a thing that he's even been saying too. It's like, he's always like the runner-up in a sense, like Roman's ahead of him, Becky's ahead of him.
Well, now
he's there, but
I mean, I remember a time when he was the guy. He had his time.
It wasn't great.
No, but he had his time, right? Like, he was the top guy for a while, and Becky wasn't doing much, and Roman was doing whatever, but Seth was the guy on Raw. He was the champion. He had the, corporate Kane with him, and Jamie Noble, and Joey Mercury, and Triple H, and Stephanie, and he was doing promos. That lasted a long time. Seth had a nice run. He had a world title defense against Sting, where he beat Sting. He did a lot. When did Riddle ever defeat Sting? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Seth's been a big star. And yeah, okay, maybe he's not as big a star as Becky Lynch because Becky has, changed the game of professional wrestling, main evented WrestleMania. First woman to do so. I mean, she's a massive star in professional wrestling. But I think that you could make an argument that the women are bigger stars than the men for the most part right now in WWE. So, and I don't think it's an insult to say that your wife is a bigger star than you. I think it's a compliment. It's like, yeah, well, she's pretty cool, right?
Well, I think the main thing is the fact that he's been there, 11 years now on the main roster? And he hasn't main evented WrestleMania. So that's rough. Like, if you haven't main
cashed in the main event and won.
Fine, but he was never booked as like the main event of WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of rough. Like, and he's still always been a top guy, but he's never been the guy.
Yeah. Well, that promo wasn't too good, was it? On Raw this week.
I'm not saying it was a great promo. I'm not saying it was a great promo, but at least they gave Riddle a comeback where he just, instead of just saying, I'm going to, mess you up like censored, and then that's all we got from him. At least he said something.
I still think Seth had better material, though. But also, strange material, given the context of Seth being the bad guy and Riddle being the good guy. Hey, Riddle, your family wants nothing to do with you. And then you're supposed to feel bad for Riddle? Like, well, what did you do, Riddle? What happened there? That's not brought up.
I'm not going to disagree with you. It's off-putting, but people love it because it's edgy, It's like, oh, they're shooting,
Yeah. So Riddle versus Seth Freakin' in the fight pit. Daniel Cormier will be the special guest referee. I hope he gets physically involved. I hope we see DC wrestle at some point. Although maybe not, given his promo skills. I don't know if that'll work.
Oh, him against Brock, that's money. That should happen.
Yeah. WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar, Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier does the JOB for Brock Lesnar, just like Cain Velasquez did.
I was going to say Saudi Arabia, but whatever. Yeah, sure.
Ooh, Saudi Arabia is a little soon, isn't it?
It's what, November something?
I don't think they're going to get that done for Saudi Arabia. Don't hold your breath. Saudi Arabia, the crown jewel is November 5th. It's not far. It's like a month away. They're not going to get Brock Lesnar and Daniel Cormier on this. I would be shocked. They already have Logan Paul against Roman Reigns. It's pretty big. But WrestleMania, I could see DC and Brock at WrestleMania.
Yeah, WrestleMania Hollywood, yeah, sure. I think it would work. I think a lot of people, like, when you look at matches left for Brock, there's not much left, really. So to have, like, a match with DC where that would bring in fans outside of WWE to watch that match, I think that's really the best match you could have for Brock at WrestleMania this year or next year.
Yep, I think you're right. It'd be pretty big. I'm not sure how the match would go, but, they could practice. How about this one? Brock would win. I'm just saying, what would the match actually look like? Can Daniel Cormier wrestle? Can Brock lead him through a match? Like, will it be bad,
I think it'd be all right. I hope. As long as they coach him, I think he'll be fine. Cormier can handle himself with taking a couple of punches, for legit. And then, just a lot of suplexes. As long as he can take that, he'll be fine.
Riddle and Seth, they're the match tomorrow night. It's tomorrow night, by the way. Saturday night, Extreme Rules. We'll be on right after here on the Ringside Report Network. Riddle and Seth in the fight pit. I think Riddle wins this. The fight pit is his match. And Seth won their last encounter at, what was it, Money in the Bank?
I believe it was actually Clash at the Castle.
Clash at the Castle, but yes, sorry.
I agree with your prediction there. I think, Riddle's going to win. Seth might become U.S. champion on Monday, so, this is kind of, you lose here, but then you'll win on Monday kind of thing. So I feel that's what's going to happen.
I think Seth should become U.S. champion on Monday because the Bobby Lashley U.S. title reign has been uneventful. He seems like he's not really part of the show.
Well, he's a dominant force, but it's never a good thing, I find, when champions start talking about, I've been champion for 3 months, maybe I'll be champion for 3 years. When they start shooting things like that, that means they're probably going to lose the title pretty soon.
Yeah. I could see Bobby dropping it to Seth on Monday. Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross in a strap match. They fought each other tonight on Smackdown. Karrion Kross hit Drew with the strap a few times. And they're going to hit each other a few more times tomorrow night in the strap match. I think Kross has got to win here to come in strong. This is a big match for him. Drew just had his match with Roman at Clash at the Castle. He went all the way to the top. He lost. Now he's going to fall back down a few rungs on the ladder.
Makes sense. Well, it's also a match where I don't think Drew has to get pinned, so I think it's just touch the four corners. So, yeah, I think Kross has to win. They haven't stated that exactly, but I feel like that's what's going to happen to protect Drew. He doesn't take a pinfall loss here. And Kross wins the match. This is his first big match. Kross should win. Stranger things have happened, but Kross should win this match.
Yeah, I think Kross wins. This is the match. I think it's the match that I care about the least, the Drew versus Kross match. Like, the feud has been kind of weak. It's not that interesting.
Well, you already saw a better strap match when I wrestled Drew Onyx, so I don't think it'll be even close to as good as that was.
But and Drew Onyx is talking mad trash because you guys are wrestling again, right?
Yeah, because he gave my shirt away to a homeless person. I don't appreciate that, but that's fine. He wants to do stupid things like that. I'll just have to smack him around a bit, that's all.
I thought he said he paid a homeless person to steal one of your shirts.
I got that he just gave it away, apparently, so.
I think you misunderstood what Drew Onyx was saying. Drew Onyx...
You can look it up if you want.
who's a pro wrestler. I will read this to you. Here we go. I have his post. This is Drew Onyx, who Johnny's going to wrestle. When?
October 30th in
Where?
Laval.
In Laval. October 30th.
It's at a high school. Yeah, it's
Nice.
in a high school. Should be interesting, yeah.
Drew Onyx says was willing to purchase the North Genesis shirt to use for inspiration for training, till I realized that even his so-called fans wouldn't buy it, so I paid some homeless man to steal it.
Oh, okay. Jerk.
I mean, what a stupid man, Drew Onyx. Because this man, so dumb, that instead of just purchasing your shirt, he would rather pay someone to steal your shirt. There's still money out of his pocket. Why wouldn't he just pay the shirt and avoid a crime being committed? He had to pay a man to steal something when he could have just bought it. You don't pay a man to steal something unless he's paying the man like $2 or something. And who are these homeless thieves that Drew Onyx has on retainer?
Have you seen his fans?
Well, you're not kidding. I find this whole story dubious at best. And I believe that Drew Onyx is lying, and he purchased your shirt that he is proudly wearing. He purchased your shirt, but he doesn't want to admit that he is a closet Johnny North fan. He doesn't want to admit that he purchased that awesome shirt because, he's intimidated by you. He knows he's going to have to wrestle you, and he's a little bit scared and a little bit in awe of you because you are his favorite wrestler. But now he's trying to play it off like, oh, I paid a homeless man to steal it. That is a ridiculous story, Drew Onyx, and I call bullshit on that story. You did not pay a homeless man to steal that shirt. No one pays people to steal things that they can just buy. Doesn't make sense. How much did you pay that homeless man? Was it less than the shirt cost? Or was it the same? Or more, perhaps? That would be a truly stupid move. To pay a man more than what the shirt costs to commit a crime, an act of thievery. Ridiculous, Drew Onyx. And for that, Johnny North will make you pay on October 30th in Laval. You're in big trouble, Drew Onyx. That is your real name.
It somewhat is. But I wouldn't worry because we have a good plan. I don't know if you see my new manager, Sugar Shane. We have a good plan coming up. October 30th, he's in a lot of trouble.
What the hell is this? Who's Sugar Shane?
Oh, you'll see. You'll be out there October 30th. You'll see.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I thought I was your manager. Maybe I'm not going to be there now. I don't know.
I thought you were my support.
AJ and I thought we were your backup, your manager, whatever. Who the hell's Sugar Shane? Who's he ever beat? Is it Shane Mosley?
That'd be kind of sweet if it was, but no, it's not whatsoever.
He's beat some people. It's pretty good. Sugar Shane Mosley. But it's not him. Oh, who is this guy? Well, you'll tell me later. Fine. I'm a little disappointed. Here I am cutting promos on you, and then you tell me you got a different manager.
You didn't see that promo? I thought I shared that promo with everybody.
No.
Well, it's okay. You guys will be there as my support either
Maybe.
way.
I don't have tickets. Nobody gave me tickets.
It's early. Don't worry about it.
Am I supposed to buy tickets?
Don't worry about it.
I don't know.
Don't worry about it.
Me and AJ, we're VIPs, brother. We don't pay. AJ's going to be mad. AJ's not going to be happy about this development, John. I'm just telling you. I have to answer to AJ.
Oh,
I'm not the one who's disappointed. It's AJ who's going to be mad. And then he's going to be like, why are we his manager? What are the, I'm going to hear it.
No, AJ's happy being in the crowd, yelling at people who yell against me.
AJ wants to choke some people out. He wants to choke people out. And so do I, goddammit.
Were you there when he was yelling at people? That was pretty great, actually. When AJ was at the show and just yelling at other fans who were yelling against me. That was very enjoyable, and I could hear it, too.
Yeah. All right, well, you got a big match coming up against Drew Onyx, who's doing mean things. We'll get you, Drew Onyx. We will get you. Although maybe I'm on Team Drew Onyx's side. Maybe Drew Onyx needs a new manager. You ever think of that, John? Maybe I'll turn on you.
Well, I'd be surprised. We'll see. He pays homeless people. Maybe he'll pay you, too, so wait and see.
Drew Onyx, hit me up. My services are available. Wouldn't that be great if I turned on you and hit you with a steel chair to make you lose the match? Tremendous. You think I'm in your corner and then boom! Steel chair right in your cojones.
I got backup, though, so that's not a good idea, just to warn you there.
Oh, I got backup, too. Plenty of backup. I got AJ. I'm not worried. He's going to hit steel chairs in the cojones, too. Everybody's getting nut shots. That much. What?
I said, you don't seem to trust him that much after yesterday, it seems.
Oh, I trust him. I trust him to back me up. I don't trust him to give me proper information all the time, but I trust him as a, bodyguard, physical presence. What the hell are we talking about? Let's get back to Extreme Rules, man. Bianca Belair versus Bayley, ladder match for the Raw Women's Championship. This is the one match where I could see a title change. I could see Bayley winning. Damage Control's come in with a lot of, a lot of heat. People are liking them. They're a big group. They won the tag team titles. Maybe. I'd say probably not. I think Bianca probably winds up winning. But I wouldn't be mad if they gave it to Bayley. I like Bayley. I think the match will be fun, a ladder match. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I could see Bayley winning. It's Bayley. She's very good. She can cut a promo. She got a cool group. It's possible. I'm going to go with Bianca.
Yeah,
I think Bianca's a safe pick because she hasn't held the title for that long, and I feel like they're going to stick with her for a little bit longer. But maybe Bayley.
Well, because Bayley, is over in that sense, where she's one of those stars where it's like she could win at any time, right? She could be champion at any time. So you can believe that. It's just I feel they haven't done enough yet with Bianca as champion. I feel like there's more they can cover there instead of her losing the championship at this point. I also feel like in terms of challengers, like her against Rhea, that should happen as well. It just feels like there's more she can do on Raw as champion. Like now is not the time for her to lose the champion. She could lose to Bayley. I just don't feel like now is the time where there's been a bit of hype, but I feel like there could be so much more done with this.
I could see Bayley taking it because it's a ladder match. Because Alexa Bliss and Asuka were both beat up. Like, they did make a big deal out of that in the main event of Raw this week. It was, get ready if you missed it.
I watched it, I know.
Io Sky versus Alexa Bliss in the main event of Raw this week. Io Sky getting the win after a moonsault. Alexa hit twisted Bliss on Io and pinned her. But the referee got distracted by Bayley, who was trying to climb into the ring. Bianca attacked Bayley to stop her. And then Dakota and Bianca Dakota came in and helped Bayley jump Bianca. And then Alexa did a dive on Bayley and Dakota, but then came into the ring to get finished off by Io Shirai. It was a big distraction, and Io wound up winning. And then Damage Control attacked Alexa Bliss after the match. Bianca tried to make the save, but it was 3-on-2, so she gets beat up. Asuka, who had been beaten up earlier in the night, she limps out with a kendo stick. She hit Dakota with it, but that was all she could really muster, and it dropped a ladder on Asuka. And then Damage Control beat down Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka, then posed on top of a ladder over them, which took forever. It was like, hey, we still have 2 minutes left of Raw. Just stand there and pose for a while. And they did. And, they made a big deal out of Asuka and Alexa Bliss are not going to be physically able to be involved in this match to help Bianca. And Bayley's going to have Io and Dakota, and it is a ladder match. And if you're 3-on-1 in a ladder match, you would think, Dakota and Io could just hold Bianca and Bayley could climb and win. They made a big deal out of Alexa and Asuka being like too beat up to help on Saturday at the pay-per-view.
Right.
I could see it. If it's 3-on-1, why not have Bayley win? And then you do Bianca versus Bayley again. Like, you keep it going, and maybe Bianca wins the title back in a pay-per-view or two. I could see a title change here. I really could. There's a lot of Bayley on TV. She's the best promo in the women's division right now. She's got she's got a big group. She is the best promo in their women's division right now. Who's better?
I feel like almost anyone else, to be honest. Like, I feel like Judgment Day, Damage Control, like, there's way too much TV time. Like, it's just not wonderful television whatsoever.
Come on,
and
man.
you're talking about...
Who's a better promo in the women's division in a WWE that is on TV right now? Not Becky, not Charlotte, not people that are not on TV right now. Are you telling me Liv Morgan is a better promo than Bayley? Are you telling me, maybe Ronda, but Ronda's kind of there and not there. And even then, maybe not. Bayley's the best promo in the women's division right now. There's nobody else, John. Who's doing better promos? Raquel Rodriguez? Sonya Deville? Shotzi? Everybody waiting for Shotzi's promos? Thank you, Harold, for the super chat. Harold Schneider dropping a super chat. Derek John says he's going to be at your match. All right. Awesome. Well, maybe I'll go to see Derek, hang out with Derek, and not manage Johnny North, and not hit him with a chair. Maybe I would.
It would be in your best interest not to do that, yeah.
Well, you think I'm scared of you, John?
I'm just saying, I got backup, so it's not in your best interest.
All right. How big is this Sugar Shane? Is he bigger than you?
You think size. You got to think more towards, like, mind. Like, he's very intelligent. That's it. He might not have the greatest physique in the world. He might be smaller than you. But, he's a very intelligent man.
It's not smarter than me. That's not happening. He's in trouble. I'm telling you, I'm coming for Sugar Shane now. Sugar Shane, I'm coming for you. Whoever you are, you're in big trouble. Now we got heat. I don't know who he is, but we got big heat, and I'm coming for the neck. I got nasty guillotine. Be careful. Don't shoot in on me. Don't shoot a single or a double on me, because I'll wrap your neck like Nate Diaz and Tony Ferguson. Okay? Sugar Shane. It's a warning. Don't try to shoot. It won't work. I got a good sprawl, heavy base, and good guillotine. So we got Extreme Rules, Edge versus Finn the Balor. Edge has, I guess, some backup. I don't know. Does he have friends anymore? Because Finn's got a bunch of backup. It's an I Quit match. I feel like Finn's going to win. But maybe not.
Don't we always say this?
Yeah, and then the Judgment Day winds up losing. All right, Edge will win. Edge will win. I don't know.
It always feels like Judgment Day. Yeah, it's like, oh, they should win this match, and they lost at SummerSlam. They lost at the Clash at the Castle. Like, they just always lose the big matches. And again, it's like it's an I Quit match, so it's like I could see Finn saying I quit. Edge, like, unless like they're holding like Rey Mysterio's whole family hostage or something. Like, I don't see Ed, or even Edge's family hostage. Like, I don't see Edge saying I quit. So Yeah, I'm going with Edge on this one. Just because Judgment Day lets me down all the time.
Yeah. I guess Finn will say he quits. Doesn't seem that likely either. I don't know. All right.
The way he is now, for sure.
Yeah, he's kind of a cowardly little thing.
Yeah.
All right. And the match could be all right.
Pretty bad here. Did you catch Pac's back? Like, I think that's when they went through the table on the outside. His back is bleeding pretty bad.
I don't understand. Didn't he just wrestle the main event and now he's in the opening match of this Battle of the Belts?
Yeah, he's doing back-to-back matches here.
Is that what's really happening?
Oh, yeah.
This is live. You're telling me this is live and they put him in back-to-back matches?
Yep.
Why?
Well, double champion. Got to defend both your titles.
I don't know.
I think it's a great idea, actually.
I don't get it.
Honestly, this is a great idea because, like, this actually makes you think Trent might win. So it's a really good idea.
Yeah. You would think he should win because Pac just had a title defense against the Dark Order for the Trios belts, and now he's defending his All-Atlantic belt here against Trent on the Battle of the Belts for AEW. We'll talk a little more AEW in a bit, wrapping up the Extreme Rules preview. We have the brawling...
See his shoulder yet?
Huh?
Did you see his bloody shoulder yet?
Yes.
Brawling, just the edge of the table. I got him.
Brawling Brutes against the Imperium is the final match here. The 6-man tag, good old-fashioned Donnybrook. Sheamus and Gunther had a hell of a match tonight on SmackDown that main evented. Gunther gets the win over Sheamus with help from his buddies. Gunther hit Sheamus with the shillelagh behind the ref's back to get the pinfall. Good match. Sheamus's chest was all bloody. Hell of a match again between Gunther and Sheamus. Hard to say if it was better than their match at Clash at the Castle, but it was pretty damn good.
We didn't see it all. They went to commercial break, and it's like, oh, they're all bloodied, and like Gunther's lip was bloody, but we didn't see how that happened. So I mean, it's hard to say better or not because we couldn't see all of it. So. Also, that tap out thing, like that wasn't like I got the idea what they were trying to do there, but that wasn't executed very well.
No, it made Gunther look like he tapped. Gunther was in the cloverleaf there, and he tapped the mat twice, and it looked like he tapped out, and everybody thought he tapped out, and then he grabbed the ropes, and Sheamus is like, oh, he tapped out, and the ref is like, no, he didn't tap out. It was weird, right? It looked like he just tapped.
Well, because the way he did it, he did just tap like that. What it should have been is him reaching, tap, reach, tap. That's what it should have been. Instead, it was just tap, tap. And, you know, for the audience watching there live, they just see tap, tap. So they automatically think, like, oh, it's over. So that threw everybody off. Like, it just, the way they told the story, like, I get what they're trying to do, but it just wasn't done correctly. And it can throw people off who just see a tap and it's like, well, it's over. But no, I get what they were trying to do, just wasn't quite done correctly. And I guess Pac has just won. Somehow I missed it.
I don't know. Pac, I guess, somehow won, and he was doing something mean to Trent, and then Orange Cassidy came out to attack him. I don't know.
And now we got the Jericho Appreciation Society.
Yeah, doing a promo.
They're not wrestling tonight, no?
I don't think so.
So Jericho will be wrestling
Gunther beats Sheamus tonight, John, and what's going to happen here tomorrow night? Brawling Brutes, Imperium. I guess the Brutes get some revenge?
That's what I think, yeah. Usually what happens, you know, you win one, I win one.
Should be a good match.
Donnybrook. Sounds good.
Some good matches. Violence. Good matches booked for this one. Liv and Ronda could be good. Riddle and Seth could be good. Drew and Karrion could be good. Bianca and Bayley could be good. Edge and Finn could be good. And the Brutes and Imperium could be good. It really all depends on, what the finishes are. and who comes to play. Who comes with their A game? We'll see. A lot of people missing from this pay-per-view. No Kevin Owens. No Roman Reigns. No Bloodline.
No Kevin this week.
What happened? Is he all right?
Well, probably because he wrestled twice last week, right? He was on Raw in Edmonton and then SmackDown in Winnipeg, so gave him the week off, I guess.
Sami Zayn not taking any time off. That guy's on every show. He wrestled on Raw this week, didn't he?
I think he was just in the corner on Raw this week.
Right. Solo Sikoa is wrestling on every show. That guy's busy. He had Sammy in his corner. Solo beating Angelo Dawkins this week. And then again on SmackDown, it was Sammy and the Usos against New Day and Braun Strowman. New Day and Braun Strowman actually win against Sammy and the Usos. A rare loss for the Bloodline. Earlier in the night, it was Solo Sikoa in the opening match of SmackDown getting the win over Ricochet. A lot of Bloodline tonight on SmackDown. New Day and Braun Strowman getting the win over Sammy and the Usos. Is Braun Strowman next for Roman Reigns? Are they starting to build Braun up for Roman after he's done with Logan Paul at the Crown Jewel?
I could see it at the Rumble. Rumble makes a lot of sense. I can see that match happening. I think this is also to help build up Usos versus New Day, because I think Usos are getting close to beating New Day's record, so that match will probably happen closer to them beating the record, I think.
New Day back in the mix. I like seeing that. Logan Paul was on the show tonight. Logan Paul and Roman Reigns opened SmackDown with an in-ring promo.
Not great.
The crowd was on Roman's side, chanting Logan sucks. I thought Heyman's promo was pretty good.
I don't know if you really need to bring up like Andrew Tate. Like, that wasn't really necessary. It doesn't really add anything. If anything, like
comparing Logan Paul to other YouTube deplorable celebrities like the Andrew Tates or Ben Shapiro's or Jordan Petersons. He mentioned a few of those weird guys, and he's kind of lumping Logan Paul in there. He's like, oh, we wanted to fight one of those guys, but they were all too scared, and you're the only one who stepped up. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's
sense.
A bunch of BS. That's a bunch of BS. You know that's BS. You don't have to mention their names, but they did. And give them more publicity, more so than they need whatsoever. Like, I just think it was a dumb line for Heyman to have there. I don't think he really needs to do that.
I feel like those guys are well-known enough that you're familiar with them, and by Heyman saying that, oh, Logan Paul, you're just one of those guys, it's like a good, insult in a promo. Like, if you started saying, oh, Dave, you're just like another YouTube guy, you're like a Jordan Peterson or Ben Shapiro, I'd be insulted. I'm not like those guys. Well, yeah, I'd be insulted. Those guys are nerds.
You should not just be insulted. You should be, like, upset, like, livid, pissed.
Yeah, those guys suck. They're awful. So it's a good insult. That's what I'm saying.
It's more than just an insult. It's more like, that shouldn't even be said kind of thing. Like, it's going too far. It's like, why don't you just say, you're like Chris Benoit or something almost.
Whoa.
Like, it's almost that bad.
Well, these guys didn't kill anybody.
It's pretty bad what they did, though.
Yeah?
What Tate did? For sure. 100%.
I'm not too familiar
with it. You can look that up.
Yeah, he's done some bad stuff. He's got some criminal activities. But the other guys are just dumb nerds who say dumb things, right?
As far as I know, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Tate was really the one that, I'm like, that was wrong. I don't think they should have said that. But
they're all bad guys.
That's me.
They're all bad guys in general. I don't like any of them. I think they're trash. And Heyman, making fun of Logan Paul. That promo was okay. It was what it was. Solo Sikoa got the win there. And then Bloodline is backstage, and Sammy and Jey Uso, they don't like each other. They're arguing. And Sammy says Jey is a hothead, and Roman agrees, but says he's got to keep Jey under control. He's Jey's problem now. So Sammy is in charge of Jey Uso, and then they lost a match because, of course, Sammy and Jey were arguing. leaving Jimmy alone to get beat up by the New Day. So no doubt Roman will be mad, and we'll hear from the Tribal Chief probably Monday. He'll address what happened tonight on SmackDown. Yeah. And Hit Row came out, and I was like, oh, no. And then they got attacked immediately, which was good. 3 dudes in masks.
It was awkward.
Why?
Well, did you notice, like, they went for, like, a double drop kick thing, I think, on the big guy and, like, completely missed?
Yeah. Whatever. I don't really care about those guys. It's Legado del Fantasma. They're NXT guys.
With Zelina, who's a very good talker. I could say she's possibly better than Bayley. Like, she's up there at least.
Yeah, she's pretty good. I don't know if she's better than Bayley. I think Zelina's all right, but Zelina now with those guys.
She had her moments. Remember when she was like on Raw like almost all the time?
Yeah. Yeah. With another group of random Spanish-speaking dudes, right? It's like, hey, we got some...
I think was
Austin Theory, too. But they had, like, Humberto and Angel Garza and Andrade. And
right.
You know.
It's true, yeah. With Theory as well.
Yeah, Theory was there for some reason. Maybe he speaks Spanish, and we're unaware. Yeah, so Zelina came out, and it seems like Sarah Logan is back with the Viking Raiders. They did a little promo thing. And Max Dupree says he's not Max Dupree anymore. He's LA Knight. And he hates the models, and he's going to wrestle Mansoor next week on SmackDown. I don't give a shit about LA Knight. Some people do, and I don't know. I don't know why.
Well, I didn't mind Eli Drake. You know, I guess LA Knight is pretty much that, just a different name. But, you know, he's a good wrestler. He should be wrestling. I don't know why he had to really break away from these guys. And, like, if they're such, like, garbage like he said they were, then why does he have to get, like, a steel chair to take both of them down? I mean, if they're garbage, he doesn't really need a weapon. So it's kind of weird, that story being told, but whatever. I'm not looking forward to this. Like, none of the stuff with them has been any good so far, so I'm not expecting this to be anything better.
Yeah, I don't care at all about Eli Drake or LA Knight or whatever. How about Bray Wyatt? Is he coming back to WWE tomorrow? They seem to be advertising tomorrow night. White Rabbit, all sorts of White Rabbit videos going on SmackDown tonight. There was even a guy dressed up in a White Rabbit costume walking around the arena, sat behind commentary at one point, and they flashed a date which is tomorrow, the date of tomorrow, for some sort of White Rabbit reveal. So Bray Wyatt tomorrow at Extreme Rules. Does he get involved with another wrestler by fighting them or something, or does he just appear? Or is it not even him? I mean, I think it'll probably be him, but I don't know if he gets involved with anybody, because I don't know who he would get involved with, other than maybe Edge.
Right. Possibly get involved and, you know, be the true leader of Judgment Day. I think that would probably be the best use for him, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
I can't think of any other spot on the card. Like, I wouldn't want to see him against Riddle or Seth Franklin. Like, you know, we've been there, done that. We don't need to do that again, to be honest. So I don't see anywhere else where he would fit. That, you know, the Edge Finn match, that would actually help Finn win the match, possibly.
I could see Finn just winning with help from his group, and then Edge being alone in the ring afterwards, and Bray Wyatt showing up for that. Not as part of the Judgment Day, just his own thing.
Or the classic thing of, like, what happened, like, the last Premium Live event, where Dominic helped them win, Ray and Edge, and then turned on them. So I can see that happening, where Edge wins the match, and then Bray Wyatt comes out to beat up Edge.
Yes, that could happen too. That makes a lot of sense. I think that's probably what's going to happen. Edge will win, but then he'll get beat up by Bray Wyatt. whatever.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Yeah.
I like
so
that,
Extreme Rules will be tomorrow night. We will tell you what the match of the night is. We will tell you what our grade on 10 is. Give me a prediction before the pay-per-view, John. What do you think your match of the night?
Okay.
What do you think your match of the night will be? Like, what do you think is going to be the best match on this card? I think it's going to be Bianca and Bayley in the ladder match.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it'll be okay at best. You got to remember, this is a singles ladder match, and they're not experienced in a ladder match. You know, this isn't like Jericho Benoit, where, you know, they've wrestled each other so many times. They've wrestled ladder matches so many times. They have a good idea what they're doing. This is their first ever one, right? And technically, it's the third ever one, I think, ever, like in WWE history for counting NXT. So I don't know how good this is going to, I think it's going to be okay, but in terms of like the best thing we're going to see, I got to go with Riddle and Seth Franklin, I think, in the fight pit.
Their matches have been underwhelming.
I thought the last match was pretty decent at Clash of the Castle.
That was forgettable. It's forgettable.
I think this is going to be like, you haven't seen the fight pit before. Like, the fight pit was pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think this could be very, very good.
All right, well, we'll see what happens tomorrow night. We'll be on right afterwards. Coming up Monday night, Roman Reigns will be on Raw. DX, that is Shawn Michaels, X-Pac, Triple H, and Road Dogg. Not Daddy Ass, of course. He's busy scissoring. He will not be there.
They'll be cheering for him.
Sure.
They'll be chanting for him.
Daddy Ass, yeah, I think so. Bobby Lashley versus Seth Rollins, also set for Raw on Monday, and Austin Theory versus Johnny Gargano. Kofi Kingston versus Sami Zayn booked for next week's SmackDown, and LA Knight versus Mansoor. Let's switch. It doesn't matter what his name is. Let's switch over to AEW World. Jade Cargill right now in the ring at Battle of the Belts, beating up Willow Nightingale.
Oh, not anymore.
Oh, here comes the Willow comeback. Willow Nightingale picked up a big win this week in a 6-woman tag. Willow, Toni Storm, and Athena got the win over Serena Deeb, Jamie Hayter, and Penelope Ford. Willow getting the pin on Ford. But it really was about Saraya and Britt Baker here. The match was all right, but although Jamie Hayter got a massive pop, I mean, I think if you ask some people, the match was about Jamie Hayter. 2 weeks in a row now.
The match was
2 weeks in a row, like, people are really into Jamie Hayter.
It's been like that for quite a few weeks, I think, to be honest. Like, she's over. So something's going to happen with that, more than likely. They're not blind to that, but they just have to wait and see. They're not going to rush things. Like, just because everyone wants her to be champion doesn't mean they're going to make her champion next week.
Why is she over?
Well, she's a good wrestler. I think people like her look as well. That's mainly it.
Okay. I don't know. I'm surprised that everybody loves Jamie Hayter all of a sudden. I'm like, okay, her? Okay, cool.
Well, she's pretty good in the ring. Like,
no, she's all right. I don't know. I'm surprised that the fans got behind her the way they have, because I haven't really seen it. I think she's all right, but
there's the finish.
Jade wins, of course. Willow Nightingale, get out of here. Britt Baker cut a backstage promo before this match and said that Saraya is not medically cleared to compete. Saraya, formerly known as Paige in WWE.
I thought they said it's Saraya.
It doesn't. I mean, Saraya.
Does it matter?
I don't think it matters. Paige. Britt and Paige faced off in the ring after the match, and they fought a bit. And then everybody brawled, and Britt disappeared, and it was Paige and Rebel in the ring, and then Paige kicked her in the head, and she stood tall. And now the latest report is that Saraya Paige is cleared to compete by AEW doctors and will be wrestling in AEW, even though Britt said she wouldn't be.
So it looks like Jade just lost her title, but she didn't lose the match, whatever, but they stole her title.
Yeah, Nyla Rose and Vicky Guerrero came out. Vicky came out after the match and cut a promo, and then Nyla Rose stole the TBS title from Jade and whatever. Jade is still the champion. Who cares? Saraya looks like she's going to wrestle in AEW, which is good, right? Because I don't know why else you would sign her.
Well, I think it's just the main reason why I think you'd sign her just for name recognition. The fact that people knew who she was, and she'd help give a rub to the other women in the division that people don't know who they were. So she's just good for that mainly. But the fact that she can actually wrestle, but as we saw, like, she's very limited so far. They're not gonna like have her wrestle week in, week out kind of thing. Like, she did a little forearm, she did a little hockey fight with Britt Baker, and they'll build towards a match. It's possible to happen, but it's not gonna happen, next week in Canada. They're probably gonna save it for the pay-per-view.
Which makes sense. Her first match back in how many years? I mean, yeah, pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be on TV.
Well, that's it. Make her an attraction. That's it. Like, that's
she's
what
a big
she
star.
is, really.
Yeah, she's a big star. She's the biggest star in the women's division. Okay, how about Andrade and Sammy Guevara? So they went back and forth on Twitter, right? They said some things. Andrade did an interview where he said that Sammy Guevara had complained that he hit him too hard in a match. But then then didn't really say anything about it to his face, and that was it. And then Sammy said some pretty wild things about Andrade on Twitter. Said he was a favor hire, and he's a jobber, and the only reason he's there. I'm trying to find it here, but I think he deleted
them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. I'm sure you can find it somewhere, but it's probably hard to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was something about him being a jobber, and like he only has a job because of his father-in-law kind of thing. I think I saw something about that. And that he should just go back to WWE, which we all know that's where he wants to go. So, doesn't seem like it's a storyline, because they weren't feuding whatsoever. And I don't think they were supposed to get into a fight, but apparently that's what happened, because the Andrade match did not happen tonight. That was supposed to happen with 10.
So here's the tweet here. Andrade said, "I said it to your face if you had a problem with me and you said nothing. I won't beat your ass because I'm a professional. Don't be scared. When I say something, I name names, and I'm not scared to get fired. Hashtag Sammy."
Clearly about Sammy.
Here's Sammy responding, who says, "You didn't say shit to me, you liar, but here's some truth, you ungrateful prick. You would be jobless if it wasn't for your dad-in-law, Ric Flair. Are you really mad at me or mad at yourself for failing to get over for a second time? Just go back to WWE like we all know you want to and fuck off."
Ouch.
And then Andrade responded, "Okay, I'm a liar. See you on Wednesday. I'll tell you to your face again, and nothing you say that you do not have any problem," which is, I don't know what the hell that means. So, yeah, that's Sammy said some pretty wild shit about Andrade, but Andrade seemed to start it, kind of say things about Sammy publicly, and Sammy responded in a pretty wild way again. And then they saw each other at Dynamite. They were apparently, according to the Wrestling Observer, they were warned not to fight, and they still did fight. Andrade walked up to him, and I guess they met at some point, and Andrade said some things, and Sammy Guevara said some things, and Sammy apparently pushed Andrade, and then Andrade punched him a couple times, and they were separated pretty quickly. But they had a little fight. Another fight. And then Andrade was sent home, and Sammy Guevara was allowed to work the main event.
And won.
And won. He got the win for his team with Jericho over Daniel Garcia and Bryan Danielson. Sammy getting the pin on Garcia after Jericho hit Garcia with the Ring of Honor title while the ref was checking on Sammy to see if he was tapping out to a Garcia submission hold. So Sammy got the win. Sammy got to wrestle, and Andrade got sent home. Because Andrade, like you said, was supposed to wrestle 10 of the Dark Order on Rampage tonight. That match didn't happen. Sent home. Sammy gets to stay. Apparently, Andrade wants to leave AEW. A lot of backstage drama in AEW. Can't quite get control of the talent.
Well, we're getting matches for Wednesday now, it looks like, for Dynamite.
Pac and Orange Cassidy coming up on Dynamite Wednesday for the All-Atlantic Championship. Jungle Boy versus Luchasaurus. Billy Gunn against Swerve. We know all this. Toni Storm and Shida versus Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. Well, Sheeta's back around. Okay. So Andrade sent home, just chaos in AEW. Again. Chaos. And apparently CM Punk is like never going to come back. That's the latest rumor, is that Punk is just not going to come back. They're going to pay him whatever he's got on his contract to sit home, and that'll be that. They just will never bring him back.
Well, he's still healing from his tricep tear, right? So, I mean, even if he could come back, he can't come back. So,
yeah, but I'm saying the rumor is, even if he could come back, he wouldn't come back.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, to me, it's like it would get a lot of interest if he came back. People would really like want to see what he'd have to say. That'd be one of the biggest ratings they could possibly get. So, to me, like, you have to bring him back just for the interest alone. But it has to work. You know, I feel like with all this drama now, like, they're gonna like limit what you can say on Twitter, I think, or what you say in interviews, even probably. Like, they're going to have to put some sort of control here where it's like, you know, not everyone's going to get along in wrestling. It happens a lot. Like, a lot of people don't like each other in wrestling. Just the way it goes. So, but you have to have some sort of control where it's like, you can't go into business for yourself and just like completely destroy somebody where it's going to hurt the company. And this is what's happening. So, someone's going to have to step up here in terms of AEW management and be like, look, you guys can't say this, this, and this. If you do this, you know, you're going to be suspended or something. Like, that has to be put in place.
People don't seem to be afraid to get fired because they know that if they get fired, they can go to WWE for more money.
Right.
You know, like, it's tough. They're almost begging to get fired. Andrade said it in his tweet, I'm not scared to get fired. He was told that he's not supposed to fight and then went to Dynamite and fought anyways. He's not scared to get fired. He wants to be fired. His wife works for WWE, and you see what's happening in WWE. Everybody that Vince fired over the pandemic, Triple H is bringing back. Everybody that's been fired over the past 3 years that worked for NXT that Triple H liked in any kind of way, they're all being brought back. Every single one of them. You think Aleister Black or Andrade don't see that and think, well, maybe I should just go back? Because they see that their push in AEW is like minimal. Because these two guys, Andrade and Malachi Black, thought, well, I may not be Roman Reigns in WWE, but I could go over to AEW, and because I'm big and because I got name value and because I come from WWE, I could be big fish in a small pond and take over and be the number one guy and be a top star and be a main eventer. They all thought this. Andrade thought this. Malachi Black, you know he thought this. All these promos he was doing, all these interviews he was doing when he got fired from WWE and when he got hired by AEW. You could tell he had big plans. Miro, all these kind of mid-card guys that got fired from WWE went over to AEW and figured, I'll just take over. And it didn't work out that way, and now they seem mad. Because the pay is, you know, all right, but the push is not that great, and they could get a better paycheck and an equal or better push in WWE. Because The fact that they were gone, the fact that they have been on TV in AEW gives them more value. They're different. They've been somewhere else. They're exotic now. What was once old is new. And they get this. It's how wrestling works. I mean, look at Cody Rhodes. You know, he's a top star now in AEW or WWE. So these guys see this and they want out. They want out. And I don't blame them, but I mean, how long are they going to be in WWE before they're like, oh, I want out? Like, the grass isn't always greener, and you can't just ping-pong back and forth, signing multi-year contracts, and then, well, when you feel like getting out of the contract, you just fight your coworkers and expect to kind of go as you please. You can't do that forever.
Well, the thing is, too, like, to have guys that are just going to cause trouble, I mean, do you really want that in your locker room, your dressing room? Like, with Andrade, like, do you want him to come back to AEW if he's just going to do stuff like that? It might be better just to let him sit out his contract at this point.
If you're Triple H, do you want him in the WWE knowing that he's a guy that is willing to fight other wrestlers to just get fired out of a contract? Like, if I was a guy who was running a wrestling company, I'd look at what Andrade is doing right now and think, this guy's kind of a loose cannon. He's not really a team player. Doesn't seem like a model employee. I don't know.
That's one way of looking at it, but
also,
I mean, other people
he's
look
not
at
over.
Like...
Which is a good point that Sammy Guevara made. Like, he's not over at all, Andrade. No one cares. No one cares. His matches are okay. His promos are non-existent. He's not really over.
Well, the main thing is you can't deny his talent. The fact is, like, he's definitely one of the better wrestlers, I think, in AEW overall.
Oof.
Whether he's gotten the push to show that, I think the talent is there without question. So, like, I think he's worth having, but, I mean, he's not worth having if he can't get along. Like, that's the thing. Like, you have to at least coexist. You don't have to like everyone, because you're not going to like everybody, but you have to at least, you know, not come to blows when you're in the locker room. So, he's going to have to wait and see what happens with this. I think, again, it's another cooling off period. It's going to happen with him. And they're going to ask him, like, if he can play ball or not. If he can't, then he's just going to have to wait until he can go back to WWE, which, who knows how long his contract is. If he's on a long-term contract, this could be a while.
People don't like Sammy Guevara. Like, that is clear, right? Sammy Guevara is the guy that called Eddie Kingston a fat piece of shit, and Eddie Kingston didn't like it and tried to fight him backstage. Eddie Kingston got suspended. Sammy Guevara is the guy who's had beef with Andrade, gets into a fight, Andrade gets sent home. Sammy Guevara is the guy who proposed to his longtime girlfriend on television and then 6 months later broke up with her for Ty Conti and is now married to her and making out with her.
Last time?
Yeah, it was like he's the only guy who proposed to his girlfriend on AEW TV and they broke up so soon after. And he went with Ty Conti and, you know. Well, people saw that and were like, oh, okay, what's that about? People didn't like that. That was the start of the heel turn, you know? And I think it's great because you look at modern day professional wrestling, like a guy like MJF who's so good at being a heel, wrestling fans are too smart now where they know, like, oh, he's really good at cutting these promos and he's saying all these mean things and it's so crazy. He's such a good heel. Let's cheer him. But you're not supposed to cheer heels. You're supposed to hate them. Sammy Guevara is detestable. His own coworkers hate him. No one likes this guy. He is the most hated man in all of professional wrestling. Wrestling fans in general hate him. The fans were chanting, fuck you, Sammy, in the main event of Dynamite this week. Fans hate him. The other wrestlers hate him. Yeah, they were saying terrible things to Sammy Guevara.
When he did, like, I think the Spanish Fly, I think, they said, like, you still suck. He was doing all these great moves, and it's like they were still chanting, you still suck.
Yes.
So it's like, no matter what he does, and that's pretty good when you think about it. Like, I mean, if you can get booed and still do amazing, like, that's what Seth Franklin can't do.
Yep.
Like, he can do all this amazing stuff, but he will get cheered for that.
Yep.
But Sammy's got it. Whether it's good or not, like, it's great for his heel character, at least, that he can pull this off.
It's not a character. It's who he is.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it is.
His face isn't like a face he puts on. That face that you want to hit, that's just his real face. That's what he looks like. That's his haircut. That's his girlfriend or wife or whatever. That's all real.
His wife, yeah.
That's what's so great about him, is that he really seems to be an unlikable, detestable person, yet you cannot help but respect him as a professional wrestler because in the ring he is still good. But it doesn't matter how good he is, you still want to see him get his ass kicked. And that, my friends, is a pro wrestling heel and what a pro wrestling heel should be. You're not the tribal chief who's so dominant and so cool that he's a heel, but everybody actually loves him. You know? Even MJF, like, man, he's great, but, you know, people like him a lot, too.
Right.
He gets cheered a lot. He says horrible things, but you kind of laugh at them, and they're true a lot of the time. Sammy Guevara doesn't get heat by cutting scathing promos. He gets heat by walking out and kissing his wife. Like, he does that, and people are like, boo, we hate you. Because they can never,
the promo.
You know, they're not going to get the Ty Conti. You know what I'm saying? They're not getting a lady like Ty Conti, and they don't have a physique like Sammy Guevara, the Spanish sex god, as Chris Jericho called him, you know? He's just this guy, this fucking, you know, he's got that face. He's like a smarmy little shit, and you just want to slap the shit out of. And you're like, how come he's got this beautiful woman by his side, and they're making out on TV, and, you know, he's got his hands all over her, and people are just like, I hate this guy. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Like, he can be one of the biggest stars AEW has now.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if they push him right, like, people might get pissed off, like, backstage, but
who cares?
It's going to be money. It's going to be money.
That's what I'm saying. Like, forget Andrade. Andrade doesn't draw any kind of heat like Sammy Guevara. He's like nothing. Like, Sammy Guevara, man, people hate him. If Andrade came out and started making out with his wife, people would be like, well, what's going on? That's kind of weird. They might even cheer.
Yeah, I was going to say that. They'd actually cheer, yeah.
Woo! They'd love it. They'd love it.
Yeah.
Sammy Guevara comes out, starts making out with his wife. Everybody hates him. It's fantastic. There's two people, they're in love, they're a young couple. People are like, fuck them. It's nuts, man. I mean, I get it. I kind of get it, but I just think it's fantastic. I think he's a great heel, great for pro wrestling. They don't make him like Sammy Guevara anymore, you know? And that's what you need these days in pro wrestling. Like, you need people that you can really hate. No, I mean, there's a lot of guys like that you don't that are unlikable in real life in pro wrestling. But Sammy Guevara gets that to translate onto the camera, which is great. Because I think he's unlikable on the camera as he is in real life. It works. Right. It works very well.
Again, though, if you're going to be a representative of AEW, going to be, you know, an employee pretty much in a sense. Like, to put out that kind of language on Twitter about other colleagues like that, that's completely unprofessional. Like, regardless of, like, you know, it's good for his image and all that, it's not good for the company whatsoever. So,
no,
like, he should knock that off at least.
Yeah,
you can't, you know,
he was out of line.
Praise him for that. Yeah,
no, he was out of line, without a doubt. But because he's a despicable person. Like, I would not do that. You would not do that, but we're not Sammy Guevara. The guy is clearly a dick, right? I don't know.
Well, you can be a jerk, but you just got to think about what you're doing for the company as well. Like, it kind of hurts the company when you're doing that about your other colleagues. Like, it's Andrade this time. It's Eddie Kingston last time. Who's going to be next kind of thing, too.
I don't think Sammy cares. Sammy could go to WWE, too.
At some point, there's going to be, like, enough is enough. Like, that's another thing with Sammy, so... Hopefully, he's got people around him, like Chris Jericho, that's going to be like, look, like, gotta be careful. Like, he's helped him before in the past, Jericho, when he got suspended, Sammy. So, and he helped him regroup and come back from that. So, hopefully, he just keeps him on the right track here.
I don't know. I think people saw MJF complaining about the company, complaining about his pay, saying he was going to leave, talking all this shit about the company publicly, and then... he had to go away for a bit, and they reworked things, and he got a raise and a push, and he's going to be the next world champion. I think people saw that, and they're like, I guess it's a free-for-all. Let's do whatever we can to fuck shit up. Squeaky wheel's going to get the grease over here. I mean, look at MJF. He set the standard. Shit on the company. Shit on your fellow wrestlers. Talk about money. Talk about leaving. And you'll get money, and you'll get a big push.
But it was controlled, at least. That this was absolute chaos. And
I don't think it was controlled at first. At first, MJF was, just being himself.
But they gave him the platform, though. Like, they gave him...
When they turned it into a story. They gave him the platform on their show when they turned it into a story. But before that, he was saying things off their TV, and he was serious.
And I feel like there was a little bit of tension there with Tony. I think he mentioned that, too.
Yeah.
But then, they worked things out, and, they were able to turn it around. Again,
right.
It can work, but it can backfire, as we've seen with the Bucks and Punk. Like, that doesn't always work out too well, so...
MJF had a killer match to open up Dynamite this week with Wheeler Yuta. He gets the win with the Salt of the Earth armbar. Great match. MJF's looking huge, too. He got jacked in that time off. Good. Got really big. Apparently he put on like 20 pounds of muscle.
You got time off, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
We'll go to the gym all the time.
Yeah. And it shows, and it's good, man. It makes him look way more intimidating now. Great match. Wheeler wants to shake hands after the match, and MJF looks like he's going to shake his hand. Is MJF turning babyface? Because he goes to shake the hand, Lee Moriarty shows up and attacks Wheeler from behind. MJF tells Moriarty, I didn't tell you to do that, and he seems mad that Moriarty attacked Wheeler. And then Stokely Hathaway shows up and kind of demands that MJF hit Wheeler with the diamond ring. I guess, telling MJF, hey, man, you're a heel. Let's do heel things. And MJF is like, oh, okay. But then William Regal comes down with the brass knuckles and kind of threatens MJF, and MJF leaves. Was that a beginning of an MJF babyface turn here? Where MJF, the stable on retainer or whatever they're called, they wind up... turning on MJF, and he has to fight through them one by one? What's the deal?
Well, I think they're just playing with people's emotions right there. In the end, it all came back around where MJF, cowered away from Regal, right? So they kept the heat on MJF. It's just, they just play with people's emotions where it's like, oh, maybe there'll be a face turn. But no. I'm not expecting anything like that to happen because he's going to be wrestling Moxley. If anything, it'd be a trick where he just, stab Wheeler in the back to get to Moxley.
Speaking of Jon Moxley, he re-signed with AEW, a new 5-year contract, keeping him there through 2027. And he's also adding, work as a mentor and coach to some of the AEW talent as well with his new deal. So a 5-year extension for Moxley. There's one ex-WWE guy that is very happy where he is, not looking to go back to the WWE. He's a top guy in AEW. He's the world champion, and he might be the world champion for a while. I could see MJF taking it from him at the pay-per-view Full Gear in November, but I could also see Moxley holding on to it because as time goes by, it seems like Moxley really is that guy for AEW. Their top guy, their champion.
Well, also, that will put him, with that contract, that will put him in AEW longer than his WWE run was. So,
wow.
I mean, if you think about it, yeah, he is pretty much the AEW guy, because in the end, this is almost like Kurt Angle, in a sense. How Kurt Angle was like a big deal in WWE, but then TNA became a bigger part of his wrestling career, more so than WWE, because he wrestled there longer. Though WWE will rewrite history and say different things, it's actually not accurate whatsoever.
Jon Moxley will turn 42 in 2027. Still time for one last WWE run, if he wants to, at the end of this contract.
What will the landscape be in 2027? Hopefully better than it is now.
Tribal Chief still on top, probably. Unless he's like a big movie star at that point.
Yeah, that could happen easily. It might be Solo Sikoa, possibly.
They are pushing Solo Sikoa pretty big time. I could see it.
I could see him, yeah. Obviously not right now, but one day, yeah.
Yep. Darby Allin got the win over Jay Lethal on Dynamite this week. I thought that match was pretty good. Last Supper pinfall from Darby. Lethal in control of the match, but Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh came out on the ramp, which distracted Lethal because he told them he didn't want them out there to help him. And then Darby wound up winning. Maybe Lethal turns on Sanjay and Satnam. Like, what was that? His own guys distracted him? Match was good, though.
See, this feel like there might be more of a face turn coming in this one. But it's a slow kind of turn, I think. It's not going to happen right now, but maybe another screw-up or two, and then I could see Jay Lethal turning face. Because, I mean, he's wrestled a lot of matches, and I think he's wrestled a lot of the top faces already, so maybe they feel it's time to switch it up.
Yeah, it's gotten stale pretty quick with Jay Lethal, so maybe a turn would help things freshen up a little bit. Wardlow got a win over Brian Cage. I thought this match was a lot of fun. These guys were doing big moves on each other. Wardlow doing an interesting dive. Athletic stuff from Wardlow and Brian Cage. 4 power bombs to win the match and retain the TNT title. Really good stuff, right?
To me, this was Brian Cage trying to prove that he belonged in AEW. And I feel like he succeeded. You just saw him at the end of Rampage as well, or Battle of the Belts, whatever. So I think we're actually going to see more Brian Cage. I think he won his spot back.
I liked seeing Wardlow in a match where he wasn't the giant guy, where he was wrestling a guy roughly his size and he could do kind of more athletic moves, some high-risk maneuvers, you know?
Bombs.
It opened up. Still did the power bomb. But, like, it opened up. Like, he's not going to do that jump in, run up the ropes dive on a smaller guy. But on Brian Cage, it makes sense,
Right. Yeah. Change up his offense a bit. It's good.
Yeah, which you don't see very often from Wardlow. You don't know that that's even available in his repertoire because he wrestles small guys all the time, right? When's the last time you saw Wardlow wrestle a guy this big?
It was probably against
Archer?
W. Morrissey. It was Morrissey, I think. It was more recent, I think.
But even then, this felt like 2 guys of a similar build. Morrissey's really tall, but Cage and Wardlow are both, just kind of big jack dudes. It was a cool matchup. They'd be a cool tag team, too. right? In another era. Like back in the 80s, if these guys were a tag team, they'd be a badass tag team.
Yeah, they'd be pretty sweet. That's true, yeah. It'd be cool to see, but alignments don't work right now. But hopefully we just see more of Brian Cage. It's good to see someone who was kind of banished and now fought his way back. It's good to see.
The Gates of Agony attacked Wardlow after the match, and I was like, who are these guys? And then Samoa Joe made the save but got beat up, and then FTR came out and they made the save, and FTR just had a match with those Gates of Agony guys that ended in a big melee with Brian Cage, and I think Joe was there. Yeah, Joe was there too.
Yeah.
So that's continuing. Gates of Agony. Am I supposed to know these guys? They're Ring of Honor guys, right?
If you watch Ring of Honor, you'd know, I guess.
Yeah. What did you think of the National Scissoring Day promo from The Acclaimed?
It was pleasantly surprising seeing how over The Acclaimed are. Like, I felt they were, but like to me, this kind of like solidified the fact that they can almost go out there and do almost anything. Like this wasn't like the greatest thing in the world, but it worked. Them just coming out and just saying whatever they wanted. Like the crowd just eats up everything they do.
Bowen said that the Scissor Me Daddy Ass t-shirt is the best-selling shirt in 2022. How is that possible? Who is buying this shirt?
Saw a lot of people with him in the crowd.
It's a shirt, giant letters that says Scissor Me Daddy Ass. I would be embarrassed to wear that shirt. Wouldn't you?
It's funny. Like, I wouldn't wear it, but it's a funny shirt, though. I mean, it's wrestling. You just got to think of it like that.
Yeah, but if you don't know that it's wrestling and you're walking around and people see you in a shirt that says Scissor Me Daddy Ass, people are going to be like, what the fuck is this guy into? The hell is this?
It's hilarious.
It's weird, man.
Like,
if you don't know it's a wrestling shirt, you're like, what the hell? What is that?
To me, like, you're actually selling me more on the shirt now. Just thinking of like that now, to be honest. Like, I'd want to wear it just for the reactions it would get, to be honest.
Swerve came out, said it was the most idiotic thing he's ever seen, this whole National Scissoring Day promo. And it was pretty dumb. And then Mark Sterling came out and wanted to help the Acclaimed, and then they got beat up. They beat up Mark Sterling for a pop. It was weird.
And they're super over. It's crazy. Like, honestly, they're one of the most over things right now in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I believe it. I believe that shirt is the most popular. They're just that over right now. Like, they can do almost no wrong. And, like, honestly, it'd be great if they maybe even lost the titles, because people would love to see them win them back again.
Maybe. I thought Bowen's promo was good. Caster's promo was a little bit weird about Washington and how DC is a divisive place, and scissoring, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you all love to scissor. Let's scissor across the aisle. It's like, what the hell is this political promo? It was weird. It wasn't terrible, but it was like, what the hell is this? It's a little odd. It was an odd moment. But,
I think
it wasn't the worst thing I saw.
It's kind of how you bring up how, like, if you wear that shirt around, people be like, what the heck is this, And it's like, for him, it was kind of his way of saying, like, it's okay to wear it. And, it's a friend thing to do the scissor. I know you and your brother have problems with it, but, I think if you practice it could work out.
I'm not practicing. Hangman Page beat Roosh this week. I thought the match was pretty good. Hangman hit the buckshot lariat, beats Roosh. And then Private Party came out to attack Hangman because they were told to, because they're part of Andrade's team. But Jon Moxley came out and Private Party left, and then Moxley told Hangman some things, says he's been waiting 3 years to wrestle him, and he's going to wrestle him in a couple of weeks in Cincinnati, in his hometown. And Mox says Hangman is the guy that's in the way of him being the top guy, the one true top guy in AEW. He says he respects Hangman and he respects his talents and admires him as a person, but when the bell rings, he respects nothing. And Moxley goes to leave, but Hangman says, hey, if you've been waiting so long to wrestle me, why don't we do things right now? Even though Hangman just wrestled a match. And then Moxley says, oh, Hangman, you're a sweet kid. And like a lot of the kids around here, he says shit that gets him in trouble, which I thought was a good line.
Ooh.
Right? That was a good line from Moxley.
Well, considering what Hangman has said in the past, yes, it's a fantastic line.
Yeah. I mean, Hangman, CM Punk says, I work with children, right? That was part of the thing. I work with children. Moxley said, you're a sweet kid. Kids around here say shit to get them in trouble. And also Sammy Guevara, who's a young guy who just got into a fight after saying some shit. Right? So Moxley, I mean, who knows? You could read into it in a number of different ways. But says, Hangman, you're a sweet kid, and like a lot of the kids around here, you say shit that gets you in trouble. I thought that was the line of the night. And he says he'll see Hangman in 13 days. Until then, watch your mouth. Good stuff. Pretty good. Intense.
Well, people might not be a fan of Moxley's wrestling, but in terms of promos, he's definitely one of the better guys in AEW, without question.
I feel like since he's come back from rehab, since he got sober, his promos have been a lot better, a lot more focused. Like maybe he really did have an alcohol problem and his promos are now, do you not notice that the Moxley, since he's come back, has been a little bit more sharp, a little bit more, like the promos, they have a point to them now.
They can. They can also drift, though, too. And I find they can also just be weird as well. It depends, like, what he's getting into. It depends on the feud. I feel like when he was feuding with Jericho, it was kind of all over the place. But I feel like ever since that Tournament of Champions, even with the Punk stuff, like, it seemed like he was, like, focused.
Yeah, now, I think Moxley, since his return from rehab, has never been better. I think this is the best version of Jon Moxley he's ever been, and I think he is improving, too. I'm hopeful.
Right. He seems motivated again. Like, it's weird that loss for Punk that he took was actually the best thing for him, because it seemed like it pushed him to be even better.
I think he realized, after Punk left and after all the drama, like, hey, I'm the guy around here, and I've got to kind of step up, and this is my company. I am the top guy. And I think this is the spot that he wanted. This is what he wants, but there were guys in the way. There was Punk, there was whoever. But Moxley wants to be handed the ball. He wants to run with the ball. He wants to be the guy. And now he gets to be the guy, so he's quite motivated. It's good to see. Yeah. And that was Dynamite this week. Coming up, Dynamite next week. Chris Jericho versus Bryan Danielson for the Ring of Honor title in Toronto. Swerve Strickland versus Daddy Ass, and Jungle Boy versus Luchasaurus. Chris Jericho, Bryan Danielson. Once again. Is this the trilogy match?
That's what they're saying.
It is, right? Because Jericho won at the pay-per-view, Bryan won on TV like a week later or 2 weeks later, and now they're wrestling again. I think Jericho will probably win. I don't think Bryan takes the Ring of Honor title away from Jericho already, right?
Yeah, I feel Jericho's doing this whole thing where he's destroying Ring of Honor, where it's one of the things where he's going to beat all the past champions and then say that, since he's beaten them all, like he's ending Ring of Honor and he took everyone out already. I feel like this is them doing that in case they don't get a TV deal. They'll just have Jericho write off Ring of Honor instead. Either way, I think it's fine. Like, you just got to separate Ring of Honor and AEW. However you do it, just do it.
Jericho, though, making the Ring of Honor title mean something for the first time in a long time.
It's been a while.
I give him that. All right, Johnny, when's your next match? When can people see you in the ring?
Well, we already talked about October 30th, so that's when it's going to be, October 30th, against Drew Onyx. And the winner will go on to wrestle for the British Commonwealth Championship. So that's going to be a fantastic match.
Where can we get more info on that? On your Twitter?
Check my Twitter. I posted that like crazy, and my Instagram as well. You can check out the Torture Chamber Dojo's Instagram and Facebook page as well.
There you go.
It's all over the place. I'm sure AJ can probably post stuff about it already, I imagine.
Yeah. So at North Genesis on Twitter, at Genesis Johnny North on Instagram for more information on Johnny's next match here coming up October 30th. Johnny and I will be back here tomorrow night with the WWE Extreme Rules post show. We'll be watching Extreme Rules and then breaking it all down for you here as soon as the show is over. We will be live here on the Ringside Report Network talking about what we just saw at Extreme Rules. Yeah, we have a lot of questions, John. There's a lot of questions that pop up. We can't answer them all. You want to answer one before we go?
The last one. We'll answer the last one.
Okay. What's going on with Kenny Omega from Silent by Deadly? What do you think? Nothing. He's still suspended.
That's a pretty easy answer. There you go.
That's it? This is why I don't answer all the questions.
Well, people like to get updates, though. And that's the update. There is nothing. There is no update.
This is why I don't answer all the questions, because sometimes it's like, hey, do you like Roman Reigns? Like, well, I'm not going to answer that right now. I'm talking about, Bryan Danielson and AEW, and people will be like, what do you think about Seth Rollins and Riddle? I'm like, I talked about that an hour ago. So I can't answer all the questions. That's why sometimes I don't always answer the questions. I see a lot of questions pop up in the chat, but they're not always pertinent to what I'm talking about. So I'm not going to break the conversation and talk about whatever question you have, unless you drop a super chat, in which case it makes a big sound and it's hard to ignore. There's sound effects. It goes on the screen bigger. It's like, it's harder to ignore. So if you drop a super chat, chances are I will answer your question. Also, you spent money on it, so I feel an obligation to answer your question. But otherwise, it's kind of tough. Shout out to Harold Schneider, by the way, who's the super chat leader of the night. Appreciate you, Harold, and all the members of the team. Tony Mack out in England. I think you did miss our predictions for Extreme Rules, Tony. You can go back and watch them. Tony Mack, our buddy, who is a member, join.ringsidereport.net. If you have not joined already, join.ringsidereport.net to be a member of the YouTube channel. You can also go to donate.ringsidereport.net, as our man Doug Hepburn has done, to support the Ringside Report Network. Thank you, Doug. Thank you to Silent by Deadly, Tony Mack, Derek John, Harold Schneider, all the members that I saw watching live in the chat, and everybody else supporting the Ringside Report Network. www.ringsidereport.net is our website as well. If you've never been, go check it out. Why not? And that's it. Raw in Brooklyn on Monday. Dynamite in Toronto on Wednesday. And Smackdown in New Orleans a week from tonight. So that is it. We will be back tomorrow night for Extreme Rules. Extreme Rules is in Philadelphia tomorrow night. And that's it. We'll see you tomorrow night after Extreme Rules here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.